So these are the solutions for the spreadsheet section of January 2014. So SS1, move to the sheet named Job, move to cell A1, insert a new row. So I'm just going to right click on the row header. These are called headers. That's the column headers and that's the row headers. So insert a new row and then put the following field names in. Now there's no marks for capitalization, but there will be marks for accuracy of data entry in the spreadsheet where there wouldn't have been in the database. So insert a new row above A1, insert the following text, sort the data in ascending order by staff ID. So select staff ID. Now if you right click, no it doesn't do it that way. So sort and filter, sort A to Z. Now whenever you select that, it asks you, do you want to just sort this column without sorting this column? Now clearly that's inappropriate because these values make up a complete record, and if you move these without moving these, then you're mixing up the data for records. So you want to expand the selection, and that will sort all the records together. Now I guess a quicker way of doing it is just selecting all the columns, sort and filter, and custom sort by staff ID A to Z. Now you can do multiple levels of sorting. You can sort by staff ID and then by service number and then by date. So it's a bit like a query in that sense. Okay, so that's it sorted. And then it says the print range A1 to E36, ensuring the grid lines, row and column headings are shown on your printout. So that's A1 to E36. So A1 to E36. So you select that, file, and print. Now you'll need to go into your printer settings because it says you want grid lines, row, and column headings. So go into page setup, which doesn't work in this setting. So if I just show you in here, page layout, page setup, it doesn't show you there either. If you just select these options here, now normally you'd be able to go into page setup and select the grid lines, row and columns and so on, but you should be able to do it from the ribbon, as you can see here. So you want the grid lines printed, you would check that box, and you would check row and column headings as well. You should check both those boxes. And then whenever it comes to printing out, then you'd be able to, in your printout, you would have your candidate number, centre number, question number, and then the row and column headings. And the row and column headings are these here, the headers that I talked about, and then the grid lines as well. Unfortunately, I can't show you in this one because the printer seems to have been deactivated. And then I'm say you take a screenshot, but it's not a screenshot in this case because your evidence is your printout, because it's asked you to print that out, and you'd have to print that out rather than using a screenshot. Okay, so SS2, Linda wants to check the number of jobs completed by each employee in luxury landscapes. In the sheet named Job, use a subtotal function to count the number of jobs completed by each employee. Insert a page break between each group and show the grand count below the data. Print the page of the subtotals that include the grand count. Ensure that grid lines, row and column headings are shown in your printout. Okay, so this is the subtotals function, and it was by each employee. So you're basically showing subtotals by employee. So that's it's by staff ID, and you've already sorted it by staff ID. If I go into that and select the columns, go to data, subtotals. So this is just a very quick way of doing summary data below each staff ID effectively. So what I want to do is, if I go back to the question, it wants to see count the number of jobs completed by each employee. So I want to count the number of jobs at each change in staff ID, count the number of job numbers attached to that staff ID. So what that'll do is it will add 1 plus 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 1, and it'll keep going until the staff ID changes. At the change in staff ID, it will insert a total. So it then also says in the question, insert a page break between each group and show the grand count below the data. So page break between the groups, replace the current subtotals. That doesn't make any difference because you haven't got anything in place, and you want the summary below the data. That's the grand count. So I click OK. You'll see that that's done. You'll see there's the count at the bottom for the change in staff number, and at the very bottom of the sheet then you'll see the grand count. Okay, go back to the question. It says print the page of the subtotals that include the grand count. So in other words, you're printing that page. Okay, so that is page number, well, because I can't show you the printer options, you can't see what page number that is, but that would be the sort of last page. Or what you could do is you could just select that data and print selection. So when you're, now let me see if I can show this here. This printer's maybe not working. Yeah, print selection. So you can just print that selection, what you've selected there, and make sure your candidate number and center numbers on it as well. Okay. Produce a screenshot of the subtotals and the grand total. So it's maybe asking you to collapse it. So it wants the subtotals and the grand total. So what you have to do then is you need to collapse the data effectively, and you do that by pressing these little minuses, and these just collapse the data like so, and then that's your, I guess you could take a, no you can't take a screenshot because you have to show the grid lines, row and column headings, so you'd have to go into the printer options and enable those. So that's collapsing the data to show just the summary data, and the summary data being the subtotals and then the overall total. Okay, SS3, in the sheet named job, rearrange the columns as shown below. So you have job number, job date, staff ID, then job number, hours and service number. So this column here is effectively in here. So I haven't replaced anything. All I've done is cut and copied and inserted that column. So that just pushes everything across. Okay, so that was actually the first, one of the first parts of that question was to rearrange that and then to do the subtotals. So that's actually SS3 now. So you had to move the staff ID before job number, hours, and then do the subtotals. Oh no, sorry, I'm getting mixed up. So this one, that was the subtotals. This is another subtotals question, and then it's saying use the subtotal function to sum the number of hours worked by each employee. So I'm just going to plus all these out again. And you're going to sum the number of hours worked by each employee, replacing the current subtotals and including the grand total at the bottom. So if I select the columns again, go to data, subtotals, and sum of the number of hours worked by each employee. So at each change in staff ID, I want to sum the job number, hours. I want to replace the current subtotals and breaks there, but I'll put page breaks in, and summary data below data as well. So that's the new subtotals, and then it says use the hide details buttons on the left hand side of each subtotal to display only the subtotals. So same as before, you're just using the minuses to collapse the data, and then it doesn't ask you, it says it's a screenshot this time, so always pay attention to what it asks you to do. It's either a screenshot or a printout, so this one's a screenshot. Okay, SS4. So this is a bar chart. So create a chart shown above using the display job hours. Okay, so basically you are making a bar chart out of this data. Let's collapse this so we can see both. There's no overall total one there, so we don't need this bottom one. So it's just literally staff ID 02 right through to staff ID 011. So I can select those cells. Now you might need to select these cells individually. You know, so you might need to hold down the control key and select them individually, like that. Because what you might find is if you just select them as a group like that, even though all you can see is the summary data, it may be selecting the rows in between. So I'm going to try it both ways. I'm not sure which way will work. Let's try it me using the control key. So you literally only select the data you want to display in your bar chart. You don't have to select the column headers because you'll put those in as labels yourself manually. So insert bar chart, and let's have a look at that, and that's fine. So what you're now trying to do is to make that look like this. So you can take out the legend, and then once you click on the chart, you want employee hours worked. So let's just reduce that down a wee bit. So you go to layout, and you want axis titles. You want a title below here to be hours. Doesn't matter if it's capitals or not. And you want vertical, and you want it vertical title. And again, it doesn't matter if it's the wrong alignment. And then you want a chart title. Oh, well, that actually wants it at the top of it, so chart title above chart, and that's employee hours worked. Now you'll see here that there's little labels. There's numbers beside the columns, so you have to then turn on the data labels at the outside end. And that's it. Now I would always make sure it's as big as possible for your screenshot. I think it is just a screenshot now. If I can just look at that. So it says print the chart. So what you would do to print it is you would just select the chart like so, and then go to the print menu and print it, and it should come up as an option here, print selected chart. Now the printer's not working on this particular PC for some reason, and therefore you can't see the chart. Okay, SS5. So SS5 is, now that Linda has a count of the number of jobs that her employees do and the total hours worked in these jobs, she wants to find the average time taken for each job. So move to sheet 1, rename this sheet to average, so you just double click on it, average, move to cell A1, insert a new column, insert the following text. So that's total hours. Sorry, total jobs. Total hours. And then average. Doesn't matter if it's capitals or not, as long as it's spelled correctly. Make sure your columns are widened to see the text. That's called truncation, and you wouldn't get marks if the examiner couldn't see the full column. In cell B3, calculate the average hours worked on each job. So, how do you work out the average number of hours per job? You divide the jobs by the number of hours. So that is equal to that divided by that. And average hours worked on each job, correct to 2 decimal places. And then format cells, number, 2 decimal places. So calculate the average hours worked on each job. So each job 0.34 hours. That's not right. It's the other way about. So you divide that by that, 2.91 hours per job. And then it's the 2 decimal places. And it says print average. So you can print selection, file, print selection, making sure your candidate number, center number, and question numbers on it. SS6 doesn't exist, and therefore that's it, finished.